Look, I should really be going to bed, but I just have to share something that's moving me. Backstory, my dad died of breast cancer in February of 2003. And I just today was browsing the absolutely amazing Go Support Them and Give Them Money archive.org Wayback Machine. If you are not familiar with this, oh my God, just go look. They archive the internet, y'all. The OG internet. So I found some old versions of my websites that I coded by myself back in, 1997 to 2000 and whatever, when I was, probably 2012 when I made my own websites, okay? So I find an HTML archive of my old blog. And I posted all kinds of shit on this blog. It was very much diary. It was giving personal diary. I'm so glad I wrote about my personal fucking business on this blog, because my memory is kind of like a sieve. I need reminders about certain things that happened in my life. So thank goodness I find these archives now and then. And for those of you who are astro nerds like myself, y'all, I have a time-stamped post here. You know I'm about to look up the transit chart, but hold on. Okay. February 21st, so this is, a couple weeks after my dad dies, I wrote this post about a dream that I remember having. I don't remember every detail of this dream, but I remember this dream, and I always wondered, when did that happen? What was the story around this dream? Well, lo and behold, I wrote about it. Okay, can I just read this out loud? It might be boring, but I'm gonna do it anyway. It's for me. My sister and I were sitting on the side of our old neighborhood road where we grew up, on the hill where the vet office always has been and where the best sledding parties happened when we lived only a block away. Suddenly, my dad walks by. No, this is not normal because he's dead, and he was dead in the dream as well, or at least I knew he was dead. So there goes a man that looks exactly like my dad, but about 3 years younger, so previous to his stage 4 cancer. He had the light brown beard with flecks of gray, the thin metal frame glasses, the hat, which is a canvas tourist trekking type of hat that he always wore on every single trip until last year, his worn yellow t-shirt with a full breast pocket he always carried around with pens in it, 3x5 note cards and other toys. That his shirt was tucked into khaki shorts. He had those white socks pulled up high on his calves and was wearing his always trendy running shoes. Wow, spitting image. And he was smirking, joking back at us like he knew he looked just like Dad. I'm gonna cry. Okay. My mouth flew open and the tears dripped out of my eyes, along with wrenching sobs and pain inside. The grief was just as fresh in my dream as it is in my reality. My sister and I both wept because we couldn't have our father back, and nobody should be allowed to look like his twin. I'm surprised I didn't weep out loud in my sleep, actually. This dad look-alike made a deal with us, I think. He gave us some flavored drink, and we could mix it with dad-flavored drink. And there, we'd have instant dad-flavored drink. I don't know how this made any sense, but in dreams, people will do or think anything, right? And in my dream, I would do anything to have more of Dad around. And that's when I woke up. My heart raced and thudded against my chest. I was mere thoughts away from crying in reality. I didn't want to be conscious, but was too afraid to go back to sleep and see him again. I like remembering Dad so healthy and grinning. Oh my God, y'all. I've been wanting to remember that dream in more detail for years. And I read in the book Journey of Souls by, I think it's Dr. Michael Newton, PhD. I highly, highly, highly recommend his books. If you are curious about souls and the other side, he wrote that in his research and in his test subjects, his clients, have talked about how it's very common for souls to come back after death, maybe a little while after they've died and they've figured out how to do these things again, reintegrated back into their self, their energy as a soul. They'll come back to 5:55 on my timer. Okay. They will come back and they will reach out to their loved ones in dreams. It's called dream weaving, I think. They can create dreams, or they will come interrupt existing dreams, which I think is the easier way of doing it, they said. And pardon my sniffing, okay? And these souls will reach out to us and give us messages and just remind us that they're okay. They love us and they're with us. It's like a final goodbye. But it's not really a goodbye, because when they go back to spirit, they're more with us than they ever could be in the body. So, yeah, this blew my little mind that I found this. So, I'm a proper mess. Okay, I went and told my spouse about it. And as soon as I was done telling this story, I looked at the clock and it was 12:22, which is one of my numbers. And I was like, oh my God, that's Dad. Okay. So you know, because I love astrology, that I'm looking at the transit chart for when I was having that dream. Okay, get this. So here's the transit chart to my own chart, and I've isolated Jupiter, which is retrograde in Leo, directly opposing, y'all, a Mercury-Neptune conjunction, a partile conjunction in my 8th house of fucking death. During, by the way, an 8th house perfection year. If you know, you know. We've also got my Mercury in Aquarius with Uranus on top of it. Hell yeah, Uranus retrograde. Nice. I mean, that's a long transit, but it's still nice. Okay, so back to Jupiter. We've got Jupiter retrograde, exactly trining my Jupiter in Sagittarius. My dad was also a Jupiter in Sagittarius. That's pretty freaking nifty. Also, when he died, the south node was on my moon. Isn't that, unhappy, but, kind of astrologer good cute? Oh, also this moon, exactly on my Saturn. Saturn was activated as part of my good old Aquarius profection year, because Saturn rules Aquarius. Looky there. Also, just the noise of Uranus trine Pluto when my dad died, like, that's freaking amazing. Like, a sudden, not really sudden death, by the way, we knew that was coming, but the fact that Uranus had been transiting Aquarius during my dad's probably entire Cancer journey, and then trine my Pluto in the 4th house of home and father, that's just poetry. I also love how that Mercury-Neptune conjunction is sextiling my Jupiter and my Uranus, as well as sextiling my little Venus up there in Aries. I still can't get over how I found this journal entry of this dream. This is so special to me. It just feels like a love letter straight from my father, and yeah. Also, astrologer good. So I'm gonna go cry a little bit and go sleep, and everybody take care of yourselves. And maybe do some journaling. It helps a lot.